Hey there. Well, it's one of those vertical videos that everyone hates, but I don't really care. Almost looks like one of those floating head videos, right? God, I'm so relieved that I'm going to be getting out of this house. A little earlier tonight, I finally got like 2 hours sleep in a row. Ever since that, ever since the lady in the back started treating me like shit, she, where I go and just me going in the same room as her, she starts screaming at me like a banshee. Yeah, ever since that happened, the antics of her and her friends just became pretty extreme, where just lots of yelling about, it's quite apparent that her friends do meth, and they'll do meth and alcohol at the same time, and, they'll be on both of those, I should say. I can just picture, well, let's see how we can hit this and drink at the same time. Let's see how let's have a I don't think it's that. But where it sounds like Super Saiyan, like a Dragon Ball Z style yelling just at random for no reason, or I hear them lose some sort of drug and they start yelling, where is it? Where is it? Where's the fucking thing? Where is it? So, ever since that started occurring, my sleep has been like, maybe I'll get 5 or 10 minutes, and then 20 minutes of just kind of laying there staring at the ceiling, listening to all this shit happening in the background, and then when it calms down, I'll sort of try to relax a little more, and then listen to my heartbeat in the pillow, and so anyway, a little earlier tonight I had, was the first time in several days that I've actually got, I got 2 hours of sleep, or is it 2.5 hours sleep? Do I have a shiner here? Let's see what this is here. A zit that's forming. And it's because a little earlier today, way earlier today, when I saw her, I was in the kitchen for just a moment, I had some dishes that were still in here, and I wanted to make sure they got washed. And she came in, and she's about to start screaming. I said, look, I'm going to be leaving in a few days, don't worry about it. And she goes, good. I'm like, okay. And then suddenly her attitude towards me was it just sort of changed a little bit, after the good thing, when she would see me like walk into the bathroom or something, she didn't put this scowl on her face anymore. And it's like, okay. And then earlier tonight, she couldn't get the power to the outlet that she has her television plugged into working. But she made it sound like it was all the power to her room wasn't working. And so she kept going outside and flipping all the circuit breakers back and forth. And she says, I don't know what to do. And so let's see. And I went out there and looked. Well, they seem to be good, but let's do all of them again. And she goes back to the room, and well, that's still not working, and I'm realizing, well, her light's on and other stuff is on, so I went into the kitchen and looked at, there's one of those outlets that has that oh, I forget what those things are called, where it has a reset button and a test button. So like if you have an appliance that falls in the water, it'll turn off the power, right? And there was one right there, and right on the other side of that wall of the kitchen and down would be the outlet for her television. So, you know, I thought, well, maybe they're connected on that. So let's hit the reset button on that. Well, that didn't help. And I say, well, let's see if there's any more of those in the house. Because like when I was at Tyler's, for the 6 or 7 months, that I was there before I actually had my own room, my computer was in this kind of, you remember I'm sure you remember those videos I had that had the red background. Yeah, that room. If one of the ones in the kitchen there would go off, that room would also just stop working. The power would stop working there. It was very strange. You know, that's something I expect out of an old house, not something that was built in, 02 or something. So, 2002. I should specify, because this house that I'm in right now was built in 1903. It's a Queen Anne style house. So anyway, but that didn't help when we did the one in the kitchen. So we started looking for other ones in the house and said, well, wait, is there one of those? Let's see if there's one of those that your television is hooked to. And she said, oh, it kind of does look like it, you know. And I said, well, you hit it. And she said, well, I can't reach it. Well, move the dresser. So she finally got that button pushed, and bam, the power works. And she's all giddy and happy and almost kind of laughing. And she gives me this big hug. And, you know, I'm not a cold person. If someone's experiencing something like that, I don't really care who it is. If someone wants to give a hug, I'm going to accept it and give a hug back. So, and she wanted a long hug. I was like, okay. And one of the other reasons why I've been nervous about her is she's kind of known in the neighborhood as someone that has kicked people's asses. I mean, literally, she's put people in the hospital for kind of misbehaving in on the property, and she's even known by the police as someone who will really go off on people physically. So, you know, I've known that for about a week and a half. So, you know, when she started treating me like she was, I'm just like, I don't want to be on the receiving end of that. I really don't. I'm just going to leave her alone. When she says, I don't want to talk to you, I don't want to talk to you, I just back away, I just put up my hand, and I walk back to my room. So, it's the way it usually went. So, you know, after she did that hug thing, I was like, okay, that's the first feeling of calmness I've been able to experience at this house for a little while. And so I went for just a little walk, and when I got back, I just took off my boots and socks, laid down in the bed, didn't even have covers on. I still had all the layers on of clothing, and fell asleep for 2.5 hours. And it was so nice. So nice. And then I woke up with my stomach growling. It's like, okay, I need to eat something. There's no food in the house, so let's go to, because it was 1 o'clock. It's like, okay, well, I guess I go to Denny's and waste some more money. And so walked over to Denny's, and been there a few times since I've been here at the since I've been here. And one of the waiters and I end up talking a lot. And God, where am I going with this? Well, some of what he's been saying is just like, yeah, this city is unless you can plan for months on a good place to stay, it really kind of sucks here. For the most part, he says that Eureka is somewhere. It's a great place to visit, but it's not the best place to live. And but he's having some problems with a number of I don't want to go into the details of his stuff, but he's having some issues out here too. So anyway, one of the things I am so looking forward to is being able to take a long shower without the water here, the hot water here sucks. It fluctuates drastically, like every 5 or 6 seconds, and the water heater is set way too hot. So if you do get a dose of mostly hot water, you get burned. So so the shower every 5 or so seconds goes between completely cold and then burning hot, unless you have it set lower than that. So it'll just be between completely cold and warm, and completely cold and warm. And I've taken, wow, yeah, I've only taken 4 showers here since I've been at this house because of that. It's just miserable. And then the shower stall is one of those ones that's so narrow and so small, you can barely reach around to try to shampoo your hair, because your arms will bump into the walls of the stall. So you just kind of, it makes me think of a bad mime. Oops, I'm covering the mic. Okay, yeah, it makes me think of a bad mime. So, and something I saw yesterday, the garbage can in the bathroom is usually covering this hole, big hole just drilled in the floor, and I'd wondered why whenever I'd use the sink it sounded like, yes, there's a bunch of shit laying over there. Yes, that's messy. That's the worst part of the room. I really haven't cared that much how my room looks, because it's just, everything is kind of shit here. So anyway, but it would just sound like water pouring on the ground. And once that hole was exposed, instead of the garbage can covering it, it really made that sound loud. And I'm like, wow, he's trying to save on money that much that he's just going to have the bathroom sink just drain in, just under the house. Oh my goodness. Oh my fucking goodness. And then, let's see. Well, he made it sound like I was going to get my money back for this place, but I think it's just going to be the deposit, if he even does that. He bought my tricycle for the same price that the pawn shop was going to buy it, had bought it before, so. And there is someone that he has staying at his place quite a bit. I guess it's a lady that he mainly just has there for sex. So, and I guess she could really, really use it. Like, he was excited about her being able to use it. So, okay, cool. I know it'll get used right away. And, so that was kind of cool in that regard. I don't know, it's just kind of nice to know something gets used. When it gets to a pawn shop, it's like you never know how long it'll be. Anyway. And he paid me $20 earlier today to put out another ad for this place on Craigslist. He doesn't have a computer, so he has other people do that. So I made the ad, and then within 10 minutes he got a bunch of calls, and then 15 minutes later a lady shows up and wants to look at the place, and then when Dan took her to the office area, the area he uses as an office, and it's like actually two rooms connected, but with a curtain separating the two. It's kind of weird. She was like, well, this room is huge. Can I not do this? So he goes, well, it's really two rooms. And so, well, she says, well, that's fine. I have a lot of stuff I want to store, and I make pottery and all that sort of thing, and that's okay. And then just Dan and her are talking a bit, and then I heard him make some phrase about some scenario of some kind, and he says, and those faggots were, I'm thinking to myself, you're really using that word? You're really using that word? Going, wow. Just wow. So anyway, kind of, there went my view of him not being homophobic, kind of got a little messed up there. Needless to say, I am so relieved that in not very long I'm going to be out of here, out of this house. I'm so relieved. You just have no idea. As soon as I'm done making this video, I'm gonna upload it, and then do the share to Google+, and then I don't think I'll bother sharing it to Facebook. I limit the stuff I post on Facebook a lot. Google+ is my main social networking site. So, and then I'm gonna crash. I'm gonna try to crash again. I can feel the fatigue hitting again. I imagine shortly I'll be able to fall asleep. So, crossing fingers there. I'm so relieved I'm gonna be out of here. You just have no idea. I preferred that place that I was in Tacoma, that when you bounce on the floor, you watch the walls move, and there were cockroaches and rats and mice. I preferred that place over here. Yeah, it's time for me to try to go to sleep again.